Hello and welcome to Sound Like, where today we're going to be having a look at Linkin Park's Lost. So I decided to make this Sound Like video in response to my recent cover of the song. Now all the sounds that I'm using in here I've established in previous Sound Like videos, and I regard them as quite basic sounds that I've got, so pretty much anyone can make a sound for this. So with that intro out of the way, let's get stuck right in. So the beginning of the song starts with the chorus, and there are two approaches I've got for the guitar for this. One is doing exactly what the guitar is doing on the original track, and the other one is actually having the guitar play what the synth is doing. In my cover I actually removed the guitar and the synths from there, so everything that you hear guitar wise is 100% what I'm playing. I'm really enjoying experimenting with kind of removing guitar tracks from songs so that all you hear is what I'm playing. It allows me to get more in depth in the actual production of what I'm making, and also kind of helps with removing issues of like potentially muffling the kind of guitar sound that I've got, so that what you are hearing is 100% what I'm playing. So what I'm going to describe now is the actual guitar track, and I'm actually doubling it up throughout the entire song. So every time there's a chorus, there are two guitars going on with two distortion pedals. The first distortion pedal is my MXR Prime distortion, and the other is my Boss OS2. It's all played by the same guitar, and they're just panned hard left and hard right in the mix. They're playing exactly the same thing, it's just that having two different pedals play the same thing kind of helps thicken up that sound, and having it panned hard left and hard right gives a pretty wide stereo feel as well. So I'm going to show you them now, but we're going to start with what the actual clean channel of the guitar track does, so that you've got a good comparison. And this is what it sounds like. As well as those two guitars, there are two more tracks playing, mimicking what the synth is doing from the original. The approach is very similar. It starts with the basis of my MXR Timmy overdrive and introducing my whammy pedal. One of them has the whammy set to a harmony octave up with some delay on in there, and the other track has it set to a harmony octave down with the same level of delay. In terms of the settings on the delay, the level is rolled back to about 10 o'clock, and around the same for the feedback. In addition to those two lead sounds in the chorus, I'm also supporting the rhythm with a completely different sound. I'm bringing in my MXR brown acid pedal along with a whammy set to a harmony octave down. In terms of what I'm playing here, I'm just following the root notes from the chords and using my sustainer pickup to kind of create a more drony sound to support that rhythm even further and kind of get away from what you might interpret as a normal guitar. In terms of the final mix for the cover, it's quite low down, and I'm just relying on the kind of low, gritty, rumbly sound to kind of fill in any sort of gap and give it that extra grit. It's not the main focus of the song, it just helps to kind of push the rhythm a little bit further. Contrasted against that sound, there's another guitar track using the sustainer pickup again, but this time just holding an A note throughout the entire chorus. This has got quite a lot of delay level on it to help create a kind of nice thick ambience in the mix. Again, it's quite low, not very overt, and you might struggle to hear it in the mix. It's a lot more subtle and relying on the higher level of that delay to kind of keep this kind of a pad sound going. Heavily contrasted against everything that's going on in there, it does build this quite large sound. So I'm going to play for you now a clip from the chorus from my cover with all of the instruments involved, so you can maybe pick out every kind of detail that I've shown you. Those two final tracks using the sustainer pickup are not critical for the song. You can get away with just playing those two lead tones, the overt guitar tracks. It's just something that I like to bring into songs just to add an extra texture and layer. Moving from the chorus to the verse now, and things change up dramatically. We're going from a big bombastic sound to something more subtle, quiet and more covert. My approach for pedals is to bring in my MXR Timmy overdrive and my delay. What I'm playing is what the synth is doing in the original version, and for what I can hear there is no guitar going on, which helps to kind of reinforce that kind of huge dynamic range change from the big sound from the chorus to this kind of smaller sound for the verse, which helps emphasize just how big those choruses are. In terms of settings on the Timmy overdrive, the gain is set at around 2 o'clock, as is the treble, and the bass is set at around 10 or 11 o'clock. My interpretation for this part of the song is very different from what we hear on the original version. The synth that they're using there is a lot warmer and well-rounded, while the settings that I'm using on the Timmy overdrive still helps to push those transients through. It's just that I'm kind of having it as open to interpretation. There's nothing saying that you have to do it in either which way. It's a very simple approach. We're also switching over to the neck pickup for a more warmer sound, and this is what it sounds like. The final section of this song we're going to be looking at is the break after the second chorus. In terms of the pedals and settings that I'm using, it's the same setup that I'm using for the verses. It is just playing those same two notes throughout the entire section. Around halfway through this section there is another guitar track that's introduced as we hear on the original version, so I'm just mimicking that as best I can. I decided to use my Boss OS2 pedal for it, using the same settings we're hearing for the chorus, and this is what that sounds like. So there we go, that was Sound Like Linkin Park's Lost. It's a very simple song guitar-wise, as with many other Linkin Park songs. It's not a band for kind of impressive, out there guitar production. It's a band that I like to listen to in terms of solid, great rhythm tracks and that really kind of support a song rhythmically. This is the first time doing a Linkin Park song on the channel, and also as a Sound Like. I really enjoyed doing it. Personally, with this song, it's great to hear Chester's voice on a new song that hadn't been released before. So this song is kind of resonating with me quite a lot. I really enjoyed listening to Linkin Park a lot when I was a kid, and to hear new music from him, as it were, is kind of really hitting home for me. So that's just a little aside. But I really hope you enjoyed this Sound Like video, and I'd love to know what you thought about it down in the comments below. As always, let me know what you'd like to see from Sound Like in the future. So until next time, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.